Good morning and warm welcome to all the participants of this 21-day summer school. Today, we have the pleasure of having Dr. Rajesh Nehra with us. Sir is Assistant Professor, Department of Animal Nutrition, CVAS, Rajasthan University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Bikaner, Rajasthan. And the topic chosen by our esteemed guest for deliberation today is feeding strategies for livestock during drought. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Please start, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Majid. Thanks to all. A very good morning to all of you. Today's our topic is feeding strategies for livestock during drought. As you know, Indian subcontinent is more prone to droughts, and their frequency, their intensity, and its impact is very greatly. Droughts cause misery both to human and livestock. And due to the widespread of the crop failure, leading to acute shortage of the food and fodder, it affects human as well as livestock health. And with the shortage of the feed and fodder, there is a scarcity of drinking water, particularly in arid regions, and it is again aggravate the situation. India has a wider geographical diversity, and the monsoon have the erratic behavior and uneven distribution throughout of the country, and it remains a gamble, and we are facing the drought and floods simultaneously, and it remains an almost annual reality. In certain parts of the country, drought-like situation is very often. It is a common phenomena, and therefore it is also called normal situation, particularly in arid and semi-arid region of Rajasthan and Gujarat. As you know, the livestock play a special role in drought-prone areas, where it contributes significantly to the GDP of the whole country. In particular, in Rajasthan and Gujarat, these areas which are prone to the drought, livestock play a very special role. Livestock provides more sustainable income when the crop is failure, and we are lucky enough, we have best breeds of cattle, sheep, goat, camel and other species in this drought prone area. In this area, beside the best breeds of the animals, we are also lucky we have some nutritious perennial grass, but due to the failure of the rain, it affects very badly, and the production of these grasses is not up to the mark. So, for ensuring the feed fodder scarcity for animals, it is the foremost priority during the drought situation. A long-term strategy is required because droughts are occurring frequently, so that we can tackle easily and we can fight with drought-prone areas of the country. It is required diversification of agriculture on one hand, and feed resources planning is also important to other hand. Indian arid zone covers approximately 31.8 lakhs work kilometer, and nearby to the 10.16% of the total geographical area. The hot region of this arid zone nearly 62%, and it covers almost western district of Rajasthan, includes Badmer, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Sikar, Nagaur, Jalore, Jhunjhunu, Sikar, Pali, Hanumangarh and Ganganagar, and some district of Gujarat also. So now come to the what is the drought, when it is called drought. So as far as the definition is concerned, drought can be defined as adverse moisture index or adverse water balance which may be due to the generally a prolonged dry spell or insufficient rainfall. But other factors such as excessive evapotranspiration, high temperature, low moisture conservation capacity of the soil also responsible for drought situations. If dry weather persists and water supply related problems increase, the dry period can be called a drought. Now, what are the reasons of drought in India? There are so many reasons. One is the El Nino phase of the southern oscillations have a direct impact on weak or enhanced summer monsoon, responsible for 70 to 90% of the annual rainfall. It is responsible for drought in India. Other reasons are deforestation, low surface water flow, global warming, it affects whole world, greenhouse effects, it also affects whole world, air circulation and weather patterns. So, what should we, what type of strategy we should adopt during the drought? When heat supply is very limited, feeding strategies during drought have lack of feed, so we should focus on to feed the animals for maintenance, and we should make a strategy to ensure survival of the animals from the available feed only. So we feed animals to maintain their body weight above the critical or minimum body weight so that they can survive. A long drought, that means the less animals would survive as the available feed would be used quickly. So we should give preference to the productive stock such as pregnant and lactating cows. Less feed will be available for other non-productive animals when we prefer the productive stock. So there are some strategy we should use during the drought or natural calamities. One is the reduction of wastage by chaffing. In some area, the roughage is used as such without chaffing. Next is restricted feeding. We should feed animals as per their need or below their need. Use of conserved fodders, which when these conserved fodders are available in nearby area, they can be used. We should try low-cost hydroponic fodder also. And feeding of non-conventional feedstuffs. We have harvest some non-conventional feedstuffs during drought season. Use of spinous cactus is also useful, and it is nowadays being used in India as well, African countries. Urea molasses multi-nutrient blocks, they are also helpful for feeding of animals in drought. Urea treated straws, stovers, blocks or bale may be used. And baling, densification of grasses or crop residue is also important for transportation of these material. They can be in form of densified complete feed blocks, densified complete feed pellets. We can use some feed supplements for productive animals like bypass protein, bypass fat, minerals and vitamins. Tree leaves and grasses are also very important for drought prone area. Silviculture system can be adopted. Spent straw can be used. Before that, we should also discuss the water requirement, because in drought prone area, water scarcity also there. So the water availability during drought is very essential, as water is helpful to regulate the body temperature, and the body temperature, the temperature of that area is very high, and water is also required for transportation of nutrients among including other functions. Water requirement is related to factors like heat load. If heat is more in particular area, in drought prone area, then water requirement will be high. Production traits of the animals and dry matter intake. The water requirement of lactating cow is in the range of 2.5 to 4.5 liters per kg of dry matter intake. And during the water scarcity, the watering frequencies in large animals should be reduced to once in 2 to 3 days, so that water can be available for other animals also. So first is the reduction of wastage by chaffing. If straw is insufficiently available for feeding the animals, the reduction of wastage might be an option. In some area in our country, roughage is used without chaffing. And Shukla and co-workers reported that 15 to 20% of the straw offered was refused when it was fed unchaffed. So we should use roughage after chaffing even in normal conditions, but in drought prone area it is very necessary to save each and every particle of the roughage. It also reduces the selection by the animals for most of digestive part like leaves. When we provide unchaffed roughage, then animal can choose leaves only, and they left the stem part. So it is wastage of the roughage. In Haryana and Punjab, chaffing is common. Even in Rajasthan and western and in eastern and eastern part and the northern part of Rajasthan, chaffing is common, but it is not widely practiced in other area, probably because of the farmers are unaware of the benefit of the chaffing. Even in southern Rajasthan, some farmers are using unchaffed waste roughage. So they should give their animals after chaffing. Use of appropriate stuff for feeding and not offering straw on the ground also helpful to reduce the wastage. Some farmers used to offer the straw on the ground, and it is again a wastage. It should be stopped. Now the restricted feedings. During the feed restrictions, basal metabolism is reduced mainly because of decrease in volume and metabolic activity of the viscera. So we should provide restricted feed to the animals when we face the drought. Other tissues also show a shift in the metabolism of nutrients and energy sources. So we should provide restricted feeding so that animal can survive. Use of conserved fodders. When surplus fodder is available in any area, nearby area, or during the normal monsoon season, you should conserve them. And use of conserved fodders during drought or flood, there is an acute shortage of feed and fodders. So this gap between demand and supply can be bridged considerably by transporting green ensiled fodder, dry roughage from surplus regions to the deficient area. For Rajasthan, it can be done. It can be transported from nearby Punjab and Haryana, even from MP and Uttar Pradesh. So maize, sorghum or bajra green fodder can be harvested either manually or by using a tractor fixed with single row or self-propellant multiple row harvester as per the availability of these equipments with the farmers, and they can be conserved, they can be preserved as hay or silage and used for the animals during feeding for animals during the drought. Other fruit and vegetable waste from vegetable mandis can also be ensiled with or without wheat or rice straw, so that total volume can be increased. Baby corn husk or baby corn fodder, which is available in some area, can also be used for conserve of the fodder. Citrus waste can also be used for this purpose. We can use low-cost hydroponic fodder. Low-cost hydroponic fodder can be produced when the water scarcity is there. It can be produced by utilizing the tap water without the soil. And low-cost hydroponic fodder, the acute shortage of green fodder during drought can be addressed to a considerable extent by feeding of this hydroponic fodder. And to make it low cost, we can use simple greenhouse by using the polythene sheet, and it can be fixed with wooden frames. Farmers can made it after some training. Now, use of spineless cactus. It is very useful for drought prone area because it can be cultivated in less water, and it easily grown in the area where rainfall is very less or drought occurs frequently. Cactus Opuntia ficus is the thornless succulent and drought tolerant species with a yield of more than 20 tons dry matter per hectare per annum per year, and provide 180 tons water per hectare per annum, which is stored in clodates. So it can also supply the water. In India, it is being used in some part of Rajasthan, and if you talk about the world, in Mexico and African countries, livestock graze the cactus. Opuntia clodates contain dry matter, the nutritional composition on dry matter basis 20 to 25%, as it means it have good quantity of the minerals, and particularly the calcium is very high. Potassium is also good. As far as the protein is concerned, having 3 to 5% of crude protein, and carbohydrate is also 7.5%. Neutral detergent fiber 18 to 30%, and acid detergent fiber is 12 to 14%. Clodates of the cactus also contain 0.6 to 1.4% mucilage, which at least doubles in the summer season, and it can be also used for binding material to prepare the pellets. Next is urea molasses multi-nutrient blocks. These are very useful, and they are the blend of the energy, protein and minerals, and they are the strategic supplementation in the ration for ruminants to make them survival. And when the condition improve after drought, they can be used. The urea molasses mineral blocks is a convenient and very cheap method, having very less cost and providing a range of nutrients to the animals, including energy, protein, and minerals. These are some formulations. We can use molasses 40 to 45%, urea 5 to 15%, mineral mixture. These are the two examples which can be prepared very easily. After urea molasses mineral blocks, we can use urea treated straws to increase the nitrogen content. It is one of the attractive way to improve the nutritive value of the poor quality crop residue. Mostly in our country, crop residues are being used for feeding of the animals. So the straw can be moistened 40%, and we can add urea up to 4%. For 100 kg straw, we use 4 kg urea and 40 liter water. For urea molasses treatment, we can also treat the straw crop residue with urea and molasses. So for 100 kg straw for treatment of urea molasses, we can use 1 kg urea and 5 kg molasses, and they dissolved in the 10-liter water and sprinkle on the 100 kg straw, and can be used just after the treatment. Now, when we want to transport the feeding material from nearby area or from surplus area, we should make them balling or densification before transportation, so that we can transport it easily, and transportation cost can be reduced. And these can be balled by automatic or stationary ballers, or by using local means. In nearby area to Rajasthan, rice straw is surplus and it is burnt by the farmers, and it causes problem to nearby states or to the New Delhi, and it can be balled properly, and it can be used for animals for normal situation and for drought purpose. It can be used very easily. Each ball has the dimension of 3 into 1.5 to 1 into 1.25 feet and weight around 28 to 35 kg. It may be vary. Its size may be different. The balls can be transported to drought-prone area very easily, and it is stored in a particular area, and after that it can be transported to affected area. Now the densified complete feed blocks, it is also the noble way to densify the feed so that it can be transported easily, and there are so many benefits for ruminant feeding of the complete feed blocks. They can be prepared by using required concentrate and roughage in proper ratio, by preparing the balanced ration, and it is prepared by blend of all nutrients required for the animals, particularly for the ruminants. It is one of the best system for delivering the nutrients to the ruminants. The roughage and concentrate ratio can be adjusted according to the level of production of the animal and physiological status of the animal. It is the noble and cheapest method for feeding of the animals in normal situation as well as in drought-prone area. We can prepare densified complete feed plates also by using roughage and concentrate. Some roughage or some straw have soft nature, and we can crush them and convert them in total mixed ration, and we can also prepare the pellets by using of the straw and concentrate. It is being used in some area, and it is very useful for feeding of the animals in normal as well as in drought prone area. Now, use of the feed supplements. These feed supplements can be used for the lactating animals to maintain their protein and energy requirement, to avoid the negative energy balance of the lactating animals. We can use bypass fat, 152 to 100 grams bypass fat is sufficient for milking animals if farmers can afford the cost. And the bypass protein is also a good alternate when the protein deficit feeding material is available. Although for drought prone area, the purchasing capacity or purchasing capacity of the farmers is very less, but some people can use it according to their purchasing capacity. Now the tree leaves and the grasses, these are the very important feeding material for drought prone area, because there are so many trees which are resist to drought particularly in Rajasthan, and they provide uh, leaves having good crude protein and mineral content also. There are some grasses which are also resist to the drought, and they are also useful for the feeding of the animals in drought prone area. The comparative relation of the tree leaves and grasses indicate that the tree leaves had significantly higher root protein, ether extract, calcium, tannin, and lower cell wall constituents as compared to the grasses, and its reserve trend was observed for lignin. They can be digested by small ruminants very easily, particularly the sheep and goat. The picture show the khejri, Simopsis senularia. It is a very useful tree in Rajasthan and nearby states. It is called as state tree of Rajasthan. Animals like camel, they can browse it easily, and their leaves can be used by the small ruminants after harvesting, and it is also used in normal situation, but during the drought, it is the boon for feeding of the animals. Other tree leaves can be also used as per the requirement and availability. Although there are some anti-nutritional factors are there, but they can be used in small quantity by replacing the other feeding material. Grasses are also very important. They can be stored and they can be cultivated with less water also. Seven straw or seven grass, it is the very useful grass in western Rajasthan. Nowadays, the area is decreasing day by day, but still it is a very important drone resist grass. Other grasses are also in that area. They can be used for feeding of the animals during the drought. Spent straw can also be used. Nowadays, mushroom cultivation is increasing, and after cultivation of mushroom, we can use this straw for feeding of the animals. It is also useful because lignin content or bond between lignin and hemicellulose is loosened by the cultivation of mushroom, and it can be used for animals. Now, feed and fodder banks. There should be feed and fodder banks in drought prone area or nearby area, so that they can be used when drought occurs. These feed or fodder banks can be established by cooperative societies of the village, by the government, or by the farmers association, so that when the surplus feed or fodder is available, they store it and it can be used by the animals during the drought situation. In Rajasthan, when drought occurs, government also do such type of the activities, and they also make provision for feeding of the animals as the feed and fodder bank. These can be run by the Krishi Vigyan Kendras or Pasu Vigyan Kendras or NGOs of the university. It can be provided. Now, the feeding of non-conventional feedstuffs. These are very important, and the non-conventional feedstuffs can be identified according to the scarcity. The non-conventional feedstuffs vary according to the species of animal and area to area. These can be also useful for make the production economical. Some common non-conventional feedstuffs. These are the mahua cakes, Salvadora holidays, tububul. Tububul pods can be used. Seaweeds are also having good nutrients. Some vegetables like tomato waste, neem cake also can be used, and other available non-conventional feedstuffs according to area can be used during the drought. Some unconventional feed of the desert regions are Tumba. It is the citrus colocynthis, and it is found in desert area, and after harvesting it, its fruit seeds can be separated, and seed cake is prepared by the farmers, and they use it as feed supplement or as a medicinal supplement. It is a annual creeper and grows naturally in abundance in hot and arid area of the western Rajasthan, also found in other part of the country. It multiplies very fast during very less rainfall during the monsoon season, and they are available September, October, and November months. Mature fruits are golden yellow in color, and they are just ball-like, having the 10 to 20 centimeter in diameter, and the taste of this fruit is very bitter. Farmers of western Rajasthan use it for camel feeding. It has good quantity of oil, up to 60%. Seed cake, Tumba seed cake is also prepared after extraction of the oil, and it has 60 to 22% fruit protein. It is available in arid region and being used as a fuel for furnace in factories, and it can be saved, and it can be used for the feeding of the animals instead of the using in furnace factories. Vilayati babul, Prosopis zuliferaria is available in abundance, and goats can use it easily, and it is used for feeding in concentrate mixer, and in goats the results are very good, and it increase production and tuning percentage also in the goat. In sheep also, Prosopis zuliflora products can be used up to 50% level in concentrate along with Tumba, and it is a low cost ration, and it has no adverse effect on the health of the animal. In cattle, in balanced concentrate feed, it can be mixed after grounding the pod along with the Tumba seed cake and mineral mixers. Mustard, Brassica zunsia seed cake, although it is used in some part of Rajasthan, but in western Rajasthan, mustard seed cake is not incorporated in general. It can be also used when the cost is permit. This is the local shrub, and the leaves can be used because the CP is good. Lani is another shrub in salty area. It has good mineral content, and it is available in arid region. Vegetative stage can be good source of fodder to the animals, and some wild animals are using it throughout of the year. Its shoots consist of mainly fresh stem, since leaves are very minute, constituting not more than 5 to 70% of the total biomass, but shoots can be used. Lani is palatable. Next is Lana, Haloxylon salicornicum. Its seeds can be used. It is important arid shrub of western Rajasthan, and it remains green even during the lean period and resists consumption by animals when most of the other vegetations dry up. During the drought season, uh, it found good source of feeding of the animals and have the good protein. Hardywikia banata as a as a supplement in goats. Hardywikia banata is available in plenty in the arid region, having rainfall above 300 millimeter. The fresh leaves are palatable to goats, and sole feeding supports the body weight growth of the growing kids also. Now again, the thornless cactus we have discussed regarding this. It may be the fodder for the animals in western Rajasthan. We can use some monsoon weeds of arid zone. These are the grasses: Kanti, Kango, Chanto, Loraru, Vicario, Gagan, and these are available during very less rainfall and can be stored and can be used for sheep and goat. Now, after the drought, when the situation is normal, we should recommend the compensatory feeding. Compensatory growth can be described the ability of animals to exhibit a higher growth rate after feed restriction than the restricted animals of the same chronological age group. Compensatory growth requires an adaptation period whose duration varies from one species to another. In ruminants, it takes about 1 month. In other animals, it may take more time. The loss in body weight during survival period, it can be compensated during revival feeding with an average daily gain of approximately 450 grams in restricted and 337.5 grams in normal in the corresponding group of the animals. So we should provide the compensatory feeding to the animals after they survive, because during the drought, the growth rate and the other activities are ceased, so that we should give them the compensatory feedings. Now, come to the conclusion. As you know, the drought caused acute shortage of feed and fodder and drinking water, and it may made the havoc with livestock nutrition and the health, and it is also affect the human being. So our first priority is to restrict the feed available to save the animals from the starvation. We should stop the death of the animals so that we can make them the adult if calf are there. We should divert feedstuffs from lactating animals to other animals, particularly the breeding stock. And we should transport the feedstuffs from the place where it is surplus or from the regions which are not affected by the drought. The feeding of the urea, molasses, mineral blocks, supplementation with roughage, and the feeding of the densified complete feed blocks or pellets, and aesthetic feeding of haze and silage as a conserved fodder, and they can be easily trucked in to emergency areas very effectively, and it can stop road accidents. And by using these we can prevent livestock mortality and when situation is under control and feedstuffs available or their availability is improved after natural disaster or the drought, the affected animals should be given compulsory feeding to re-attain the body weight and production. For regions that are affected by recurrent droughts, it is very important to establish feed and fodder banks. Government should take initiative regarding this. Plantation of thornless cactus and fodder trees will also enhance the resilience of drought-prone areas. So, thank you. That's all from my side. And now I invite if there is any query.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Now, if any questions are there, participants have turned on your microphone, you can directly ask. Anyone who has a question can directly put it in chat or directly ask. I've turned on your microphones, you can ask directly.
Okay. Majid?
Sir.
Dr. Pankaj.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your elaborate presentation on particularly for desert area. I think for participants it's very nice time, rather opportunity to visit Rajasthan by being presentation of Dr. Nehra.
Thank you, sir. I welcome all of you.
And Dr. Nehra has worked in, I think, armed force as well. So he has experience of both from teaching as well as administration and rearing animals in difficult situations. So I'm sure our participant must have gained knowledge regarding feeding strategy during hot or humid condition. Sir, again, thank you very much for your valuable time.
Welcome and thank you all of you. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to organizers who gave me the chance to interact with summer school participants. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. And Ajit, I think this is right time to announce that each and every participant should remain present during our validity function. I request all of you to remain present at least during validity function. Thank you very much.
That is at 2:30. Please be present for 2:30 session. And I request all the participants to be available for that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.